Hello, dear children and parents. Welcome to our channel. Once upon a time, there was a little girl named Dorothy who had a dog named Toto. She lived with her uncle and aunt in Kansas. One day, a huge storm, a cyclone, came and lifted their house into the air. Uncle Henry and Aunt Em managed to hide in the cellar, but Dorothy didn't go because she was looking for Toto, who had hidden under a bed. The house flew with Dorothy and Toto in it until it landed in a distant land. Dorothy wished to return home, but she didn't know the way. They were in the land of the Munchkins. The house had landed right on top of the Wicked Witch of the East, killing her. Another witch, from the north, explained to the little girl what had happened. In the land of Oz, there were 4 witches, 2 good ones and 2 evil ones. Now only one evil witch remained, the one from the west. Oz was the great wizard from the Emerald City. Dorothy received the silver slippers from the dead witch, which had unknown powers. Then they were directed to go to the Emerald City in the center of the land to find the way home from the great wizard. The road to Oz was paved with yellow bricks, so the 2 of them set off. Along the way, they first made friends with a scarecrow named Scarecrow. To Dorothy's surprise, he could speak. He was very sad because he didn't have a brain, and he spent all his time hanging to scarecrows. Dorothy took him down and he joined her on the journey, wishing to ask Oz for a brain. Later, while passing through a forest, Dorothy also freed the Tin Man, a man made of tin who had rusted. She oiled his joints, and he joined them on the road, wishing to ask Oz for a heart. Dorothy was already getting used to the oddities. They later encountered a huge lion, but a coward. He was afraid of all animals, and he scared them with his roar. He also joined the group, wishing that the Wizard of Oz would give him some courage. Along the way, it turned out that the Scarecrow actually had brains, the Tin Man had a heart, and the Cowardly Lion had courage. But they didn't realize they had them. The first obstacle on their journey was a chasm, which the lion crossed, carrying them one by one. They faced other adventures, escaping from giant clawed creatures, crossing waters, and avoiding a poppy field that made them sleep without waking. The Cowardly Lion almost fell asleep in the field, but was pulled out by thousands of mice, subjects of the Queen of the Mice. When they reached the Emerald City, the oddities continued. No one had ever seen Oz. The group was given green glasses so they wouldn't go blind from the city's brilliance. The wizard agreed to meet them, and the first one to enter the throne room was Dorothy. The wizard was interested in her silver slippers and a glowing mark on her forehead. Oz appeared to the girl as a huge head sitting on a throne, but without a scary voice. He told her he wouldn't send her home unless she killed the Wicked Witch of the West. To the Scarecrow, who wanted a brain, Oz appeared as a beautiful woman. To the Tin Man, who wanted a heart, he appeared as a beast. And to the Cowardly Lion, who wanted courage, he appeared as a ball of fire. Oz told them all the same thing: to kill the Wicked Witch of the West. So our friends set off towards the west to find the witch. They didn't know if they would kill her, but they had no other choice. The witch saw everything through an eye. She sent a pack of wolves to kill her enemies. The Tin Man, however, defeated them with his axe. Then the witch sent wild crows after them. They were defeated by the Scarecrow. Not even a swarm of black bees could sting them, as they were covered with straw. The witch had power over the Winky people, so she sent them to kill the intruders. But when the lion roared, the Winky people fled. Then the witch decided to summon the winged monkeys. She could only summon them once more. The monkeys threw the Tin Man into a chasm, placed the Scarecrow's straw at the top of a tree, bound the lion, and took him to the witch as a servant. However, they couldn't approach Dorothy because of the mark on her forehead. The power of good was stronger than the power of evil. Even the Wicked Witch trembled before Dorothy because she knew the power of the slippers. Since Dorothy didn't know anything about their power, and the protection she had from the mark on her forehead, she became the witch's servant, crying every day for her home, until one day, when the witch tried to steal her slippers, she succeeded in taking one of them. Upset, Dorothy threw a bucket of water on the witch, who melted away and disappeared. Water could defeat her. After the witch's defeat, Dorothy looked for her two friends, the Tin Man and the Scarecrow. She found the first one more easily. He was full of bumps, but the freed Winky people made him like new. The Scarecrow was found too, or rather, his clothes, which were filled with fresh straw. Then the friends set off towards the Emerald City, carrying gifts from the Winky people. Dorothy also took the Wicked Witch's magical golden bonnet, not knowing its powers. The power of the bonnet was to call the winged monkeys 3 times. Again, they were helped by the Queen of the Mice, who revealed the secret to them. The winged monkeys immediately took them to the Emerald City. There, the friends waited several days until Oz finally met them in the throne room. They only heard a voice. No one appeared on the throne. But when they accidentally knocked over a screen, it was revealed that the Great Wizard was just an old man without magical powers, who had pretended to be a wizard. He only knew how to make masks and was a ventriloquist, which meant he could make his voice sound from several places at once. And that was all. He had come to this land because his hot air balloon had been carried away and brought him here. Then he built the Emerald City and became its ruler, being considered a great wizard by the locals. In fact, he was afraid of the evil witches. My friends from the story were very upset. Who would fulfill their wishes now? So they asked Oz to do something. He told them that they already had brains, hearts, and courage, but he had to put bran and nails on the Scarecrow's head instead of straw, gave the Tin Man a heart made of silk, and gave the Cowardly Lion a courage syrup. As for Dorothy, Oz wanted to build another balloon, fill it with hot air, and fly her back to Kansas. The balloon was sewn, glued, but when they were about to board it, Dorothy was delayed by Toto, who got lost in the crowd. So Oz left alone with the balloon. Meanwhile, the Scarecrow remained the ruler of the city. And again, on the road, the friends went to the Witch of the South, Glinda. Maybe she would know how to help Dorothy get home. The winged monkeys, although called for the second time, couldn't leave their land. Other troubles followed. They passed through a forest with fighting trees. They went through the land of porcelain, and the lion killed a giant spider, becoming the king of the animals. They called the winged monkeys a third time to help them cross a land of strange little men who wouldn't let them pass. The lion promised he would return to his subjects only after Dorothy found her way home. So did the Scarecrow. Glinda the witch explained all the mysteries to them. The silver slippers would take Dorothy home. She had to tap them 3 times at her heels and tell them where to take her. The winged monkeys, at the witch's command, took the 3 friends back to their subjects. The Scarecrow to the Emerald City, the Tin Man to the people of the West, who wanted him as their king, and the lion to the animals in the forest. Dorothy, with Toto, immediately arrived home at the house rebuilt by Uncle Henry. She was warmly welcomed, and the silver slippers were lost during the flight and remain lost to this day. The little girl didn't regret the entire journey because she made new friends and was able to help them.